Okay, welcome to our video for tonight. Tonight we are going to be talking about how to add and subtract mixed numbers. Our learning target is that students will be able to solve real-life problems involving mixed numbers. So make sure that you write down the title in the heading part, the top of your piece of paper, and then make sure you write down your learning target as your first line. If you need to pause, go ahead. Otherwise, I am moving on. In example 1, we're going to talk about modeling. I'm going to show you how to model a mixed number. It's not too much different than modeling fractions, it's just a little bit more because we have to put the whole numbers in there. To model a mixed fraction, so let's say we have 4 3/4 minus 2 1/4, I'm going to use my fraction strip. So the first thing I'm going to do is write out 4 whole amounts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to write 3/4 of my next amount. Now my whole amounts, I want this to be about 3/4 of that, so I don't want quite the same length. And I'm going to label those all 1/4. Okay? Then I'm going to write 2 1/4. I'm going to write it underneath. It's going to help me with this problem if I write it underneath. And I'm actually going to stack, so I'm going to move my 1/4 over here and put it underneath the other one. Okay, that's going to make it easier for me to cross off, which is what I'm going to do. Since it's subtracting, I'm not putting them together. Since it's subtracting, I'm going to cross off. So I'm going to cross off one here with one there. Okay, that takes care of my whole amounts. And then I'm going to cross off one of my 1/4 with that 1/4, and that takes care of those. Now I'm going to rewrite my answer. I have 2 whole amounts left. And I have 1, 2 of my 1/4 left. I can look to see if that can simplify. Yes, that can simplify. So my final answer is going to be 1 whole amount, the second whole amount, and then that is going to be 1/2. And that is going to be my final answer. So there's my 2 1/2. Okay, so when you're subtracting, it's easier, I think, if you stack them and then cross off to write your answer. Okay, but again, it's what you're taking away from what you originally had. That's what subtracting is. Okay, if you need to pause, go ahead. Otherwise, I am going to move on to the next answer. Okay, in example 2, let's add some mixed numbers. When I'm adding mixed numbers, I first need to find a common denominator if there's not one. And in my first example, I do not have one. So I have to look, and I can make a common denominator of 4. Okay, 2 goes into 4. So the first thing I'm going to do is rewrite this common denominator of 4. So it's going to be 2 1/4. Just rewrite your problem, guys. Don't try to cram it all in there and try to write over the existing numbers. Rewrite the problem so it's nice and clean and easy to read. And that's 2 2/4. Okay, now I'm going to teach you by adding, by not turning them into mixed numbers. You can always turn them into mixed numbers and then add them and work from there, but I'm going to try to teach you how to do it without having to do all that work. Okay, you just add the whole numbers. 2 plus 2 is 4. Then you add your fractions. 1 plus 2 is 3. The denominator 4 stays the same. You never add or subtract the denominators. They stay the same. And that's 4 3/4. You always look to see if it can be simplified. This one cannot, so I can move on. Okay, in example B, I have 5 4/5 plus 1 3/5. Okay, they already have a common denominator, so I don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to add my whole numbers. 5 plus 1 is 6. Then I'm going to add my numerators. 4 plus 3 is 7, and my denominator stays the same. Now I have to look to see if I can leave this as a final answer. I cannot, because I have a whole number and an improper fraction, so I cannot leave this as that answer, 6 7/5. I have to convert it into a proper, correct mixed number. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my converting to a mixed number process with 7/5. Okay, so 5 goes into 7 once, and that has a remainder of 2. Okay, well I already have 6, so I'm adding just one more. So now I have 7, and then I have a remainder of 2. So it's 7 2/5, and that is my final answer. Okay, if you need to pause, go ahead. Otherwise, I am moving on. In example 3, we're going to work on our subtracting mixed numbers. So in the first one, I'm going to look for a common denominator. They can go into 6, so I'm going to multiply this one by 3. That's going to give me 4 5/6. Minus 2 3/6. Now I'm going to go through the same thing. I'm going to subtract. 4 minus 2 is 2. 5 minus 3 is 2. And I have a denominator of 6. Oh, I can simplify the 2 and 2 6. I can divide those both by 2. So my final answer is 2 1/3. Okay? Going over to B. B is going to be a tricky one, so pay attention. They have the same denominator, so that's great. So I can just subtract. Oh, wait a second, we have a problem. I cannot do 1 minus 3. I can do 3 minus 1, but I cannot do 1 minus 3. So I cannot do this problem without borrowing. So here is how you borrow. Okay? I need to get this numerator larger. I want the 1, it needs to be larger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow 1 from the 3. I'm going to make it a 2. Now, that means I'm taking a 1 whole amount and I'm breaking it into 8 individual pieces. So then what I'm going to do is add my denominator and numerator. So 8 plus 1, sorry about the bell, 8 plus 1 is 9, and that is now going to become 9. Okay? Now I can do the problem from there. Okay? 2 minus 1 is 1, 9 minus 3 is 6, denominator of 8 stays the same. So that is borrowing. Let me review that borrowing one more time. I'm going to erase what I had here. Okay, I take 1 away from the 3 and make it a 2, so that always goes down 1. I'm breaking it into 8 individual pieces, because that's my denominator, so I'm going to add 8 more pieces to here. So I add the numerator and denominator, 8 plus 1 becomes 9. Now I can do 2 minus 1 is 1, 9 minus 3 is 6, denominator 8 stays the same. I look to simplify, I can. I divide them both by 2, and I get 1 3/4. And that is my final answer. Okay, that is it for today. Have a great night, and we'll see you in class tomorrow.